Welcome to the deep dive. We take your source material, sometimes messy, sometimes raw, and turn it into clear insights.
That's the plan.
Today, we're plunging into an audio rant. It's from a content creator, Kennigan, from ragingtreptillion.com.
Right. The source is titled YouTube Bans Navy SEAL and Extorts Content Creators. Rant.mp3. And yeah, it's definitely a rant. Very opinionated.
Highly opinionated, yeah. He goes after YouTube and Google policies, talks about bias, the struggles creators face. It's a lot.
It is. And our mission here is really just to unpack his main points, his specific claims, try to understand his perspective without, getting bogged down in the heat of it all.
Exactly. Give you, the listener, a clear picture of what he's saying. Okay, let's get into it.
Sounds good.
So Kennigan kicks things off almost immediately with a big one for him. The removal of Don Shipley's YouTube channel. Shipley's a Navy SEAL veteran.
Yeah, this seems to be a major flashpoint.
What exactly happened there, according to Kennigan, and why did it make him so angry?
Well, the core issue, as Kennigan presents it, is false valor. Shipley, who he identifies as a SEAL from Class 131, apparently had his channel pulled because he was exposing people pretending to have military service they didn't earn.
Exposing false claims. Okay.
Right. Kennigan gives a specific example. Shipley supposedly called out a Native American guy claiming to be a Vietnam vet.
And he wasn't.
According to the source, Shipley revealed he was actually a Marine veteran, but worked as a refrigerator mechanic and never went to Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Kennigan says Shipley had done this before, called out others.
And taking down Shipley's channel for doing that.
Kennigan claims it pissed off all the Navy SEALs and, quote, the entire veteran community. Big backlash, according to Kim.
Okay, so you can see why that hits hard. It's about integrity, especially military integrity. And Kennigan himself is a veteran, right? He makes that clear.
Oh, absolutely. He states it very plainly. I have no sympathy for anyone claiming false valor. He even gives another example. What's that? He says, if you served in the Coast Guard and you're telling people you're a Navy SEAL, that is also false valor. It's a really strong personal conviction for him.
So that perceived injustice against Shipley, someone policing that boundary, seems like a real foundational issue for his whole critique.
It definitely feels that way.
Yeah.
Like a starting point for his broader distrust and frustration with the platform.
Okay, so moving on from Shipley, Kennigan then makes some really serious accusations about YouTube's monetization, calls it legal extortion. That's quite a charge.
It is. And he tries to back it up with his own experience.
How so? Can you walk us through that?
He describes this scenario where his videos get put into monetization review, but then they just stay there indefinitely.
Meaning he can't earn any ad revenue from them.
Exactly. He can't earn money while they're under review.
Okay.
And he gives a specific example, a video he uploaded March 3rd, 2019, called Hillary Clinton Clone Preaches at Bloody Sunday. He says it got 5,761 views, but just sat there stuck in monetization review.
So his argument is that YouTube gets the views, gets the engagement, but he doesn't get paid for it.
That's precisely his claim. He says YouTube is extorting all the brunt of the views on my videos away from me. That indefinite review is the mechanism, in his view.
But then he talks about a different situation with copyright. That seemed to go differently for him.
Yeah, that's an interesting contrast he draws.
Yeah.
He used some copyrighted music, apparently from a music studio, in a video called Reptilian Elvis Presley Left Eye Anomaly with Analysis.
Okay. Risky move.
Right. But he filed a fair use claim. It said for educational purposes. And surprisingly, he says he got an email back. Saying that the copyright holder, Merlin Dan Park Music Group, had decided to release their claim, meaning he would get the earnings from that video.
So one system works, one doesn't in his eyes. What's his explanation for that difference?
His take is that YouTube has to deal with copyright claims properly because there are legal ramifications, laws involved.
The monetization reviews.
He argues there are no legal ramifications for YouTube's bullshit monetization policy. That's his phrasing. He thinks it gives YouTube cover to just hold videos in review indefinitely.
And his theory is they do this deliberately to creators they don't like.
That's what he alleges, yeah. He specifically mentions conservatives and himself, saying, they're extorting the money away from me. He also points to another video, something about EpiPens and adrenochrome being demonetized.
Does he have any idea why his videos get flagged for these reviews?
He suspects it might be users flagging them. That maybe flags trigger a manual review, and then they just sit in limbo as another layer of sort of feeling targeted.
Okay, so this leads into his broader criticisms about YouTube and Google in general. Bias, inconsistency. He claims they're showing their true colors recently. What are some of the key points he makes there? He gets pretty specific, doesn't he?
Oh, very specific and quite controversial. He makes this claim that Google now pays women more than men for the same job.
Okay.
And he interprets this as evidence Google doesn't want white male veterans working there.
Wow. Does he say who they do want?
Yeah. He lists groups he believes Google prefers to hire. It's quite the list. Transgender, a member of Antifa, a communist, a social myth, a Luciferian, member of the Church of Satan. That's directly from the source.
Those are extremely strong accusations about hiring preferences.
Extremely strong. And he ties this perceived bias into inconsistency and censorship, too. He brings up the Don Shipley case again, contrasting it with his feeling that he can't talk about things like the trans agenda. No consistency, he says.
He also lists other topics he feels are being suppressed, right? Things he considers important.
Yes. He mentions content about pedophilia, Hillary Clinton, adrenochrome, Luciferianism, human trafficking, topics he views as, danger to, like, children and the public.
And he feels he can't make videos about them.
He literally says Kenny can't make a video about Hillary Clinton. He bundles it all together, suggesting Google and YouTube hate veterans, hate truthers, hate conservatives, hate Trump.
He even calls out leadership specifically.
He does. He refers to the Google CEO as Indian, obviously Sundar Pichai, and mentions Susan White, the CEO of YouTube, meaning Susan Wojcicki. He's clearly aiming his criticism high up.
This sounds like a complete breakdown of trust. Does he offer any broader theory about Google's direction?
Well, he argues they've abandoned this old sales rule about not mixing business with politics or religion. Says you shouldn't discuss that in front of your customers.
And he thinks that's hurting them.
He says it's backfiring. Then he gets, well, even more provocative. He suggests Google needs some real Americans working up in Google and calls the staff liberal, psychopathic retards. Again, his words from the source.
Very inflammatory language.
Extremely.
Yeah.
He also throws in a theory connecting the deep state, tornadoes in Alabama on Bloody Sunday, and a Hillary Clinton clone. It's a lot of different threads of frustration and, frankly, conspiracy theories woven together.
So, given all this, the perceived censorship, the monetization issues he calls extortion, the alleged bias, what does this actually mean for him as someone trying to make content? How does he articulate that struggle?
He says the lack of consistency makes him afraid to cover certain topics. He doesn't know what will trigger a problem.
Understandable frustration for any creator, really. The uncertainty.
Right. And he emphasizes the sheer amount of effort involved, hours of work poured into videos, only to have them potentially get stuck in that monetization review limbo that reinforces his extortion is extortion line.
And hasn't he had channels removed before?
He mentions that, yeah. Says his previous YouTube channel was taken down because of community guideline strikes. So this isn't his first negative experience, which likely fuels his current anger and distrust. It's a history there.
And he seems pretty defiant about it now. He has a message for people flagging his videos.
Oh, yeah. He issues a direct challenge, basically a threat. If I find out someone's flagging my videos, it will come back to haunt you in the ass.
Okay, so he's not backing down.
Not at all. He ends the rant, saying he basically doesn't care about YouTube's policies anymore. He's going to make videos on the topics he thinks are important, regardless of demonetization or controversy. It's a very defiant stance.
Wow. Okay, so we've just walked through a really intense critique of YouTube and Google, all from this one content creator's perspective. Kennigan's rant hit on perceived censorship, the Don Shipley issue, the monetization struggles he frames as extortion, and these really strong claims of bias and inconsistency.
Yeah, it's a potent mix. And it really throws a spotlight on that often strained relationship between huge platforms like YouTube and the individuals actually creating the content, especially when creators, like Kennigan here, feel they're being unfairly singled out or silenced.
It definitely highlights the power imbalance.
Absolutely. You see how decisions made by the platform, often through systems that feel opaque or arbitrary to the creators, can have such a huge impact on their work, their income, and just their general willingness to even create. Kennigan's experience, as he tells it, really underscores that vulnerability.
So thinking about this as we wrap up, these platforms are incredibly influential in how we all get information, how ideas spread. For you, the listener, hearing a perspective like Kennigan's, how does that make you think about the systems behind the content you consume? It's a good question. How much transparency should we expect from platforms about why certain content gets visibility or why some creators face hurdles while others don't?
Right. And how do we, as users, navigate these spaces knowing these tensions exist between the platform and the creators?
Yeah.
It's definitely something to chew on as you scroll through your feeds. A fascinating, if fiery, look behind the curtain from one creator's point of view.